Howdy, 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 my name's Anashi Sasuke. Welcome back to Let's Read the SCP Foundation Wiki. In the last episode of Resurrection A9, we read, I believe, Folly and also Back Alley Deals. So we're going to start with Tasers and Thermite. I haven't pre-read any of these due to the fact that they didn't say this on them. Also, I recently found out that with Bandicam, which is what I record with, you can draw things on the video, but I'm not sure if I can, because I don't have the little box showing that says full screen on it, because I figure it looks better if I don't keep that on the screen. So I will probably not ever actually be drawing things on the screen, but now I know I can. Anyway, let's check out those Tasers and Thermites, and it looks like somebody added these 3 stories. Interesting. So, Tasers and Thermite. Tasers and Thermite. Okay then. Django Bridge woke up. He'd been sleeping in his office face down at his desk. The glow of his screensaver and the yellow of a lamp outside were casting a mixture of warm and cool light in the room. He sat up and cracked his neck. Like that. I don't know if the microphone picked up me cracking my neck, but I did that. And glanced at his monitor. Red. That was not good. Alert message prompt. Unauthorized login attempts. Location node 66A. Please contact system administrator. Can I click this? I cannot click this. Bridge was the system administrator. He was also the only level 4 on the site. He swiveled out from behind his desk to hustle over to the server room downstairs. Who in the hell was screwing around with the servers at 3 in the morning? Only persons with clearance level 3 or higher were even allowed in the server room. As he made his way downstairs and through the halls, Bridge unclipped the radio from his belt and made a call. Site 66 was originally a coal power plant, abandoned for about a decade or so before SCP-1479 was discovered inside one of the outbuildings. Most structures have been updated and upgraded, with other SCP objects scattered around the premises. Bridge's office was in Building A, the largest and most extensively updated structure, complete with modern offices, an exceptional security system, and a block of data archival servers on the second basement level. Most of the halls were lit by a stark fluorescent lighting against the old heavy metal and concrete corridors, giving an industrial look to the lower levels. Bridge arrived on the second level and immediately noticed how quiet the place was. No security peons in sight. Strange. Bridge's security, I have an unauthorized entry in the new archive servers. I'm taking a look. He cocked his head to the side to see an open server panel. Oh, that. He turned the corner to find a man he didn't recognize. The man wore an Oxford white shirt with black tie and suspenders, and he was bent over a bundle of tangled wires and devices. Hold on, stop right there, hands up. Bridge quickly drew an aimed taser at the man. He'd practiced that motion quite a bit in his off time. The man looked up with a shocked expression. Whoa there, hoss, I just... Stand up, hands up. Whatever you say, listen though, I'm responding to the same thing you are, probably. Okay, then who are you, and what the hell are you doing in my servers? Bridge's arm relaxed a little. Suspenders, pale, earpiece? IT peon. Look, I got ID. The man reached into his shirt to produce a Foundation badge and a folded transfer order. Bridge peered down and scanned it. Site 66 information requisition by order of Dr. Carlisle Actus, MTF Lambda 2 transferee agent Dietrich Lurk. Lurk? He gave Dietrich a queer glance. Pa's family Scottish. He shrugged. Right, it's this guy. Bridge continued to read Dietrich's orders, his eyes flicked between the ID photo and Lurk's face. He'd seen this face before somewhere. Probably when he was combing the personnel index for Lament's email. He shook his head and stepped a bit closer, clipping the ID tag to Dietrich's pocket. Feel like I should have known we had a new guy. Did Dr. Siddleman confirm you? What are you up to at 3 in the morning? Just arrived 12 hours ago. I can't do a voice for him right now. I don't know if he's supposed to be Scottish or if he just got Scottish family. Or if he's like Southern. Just arrived 12 hours ago. I'm still on the different time zones overseas, but really, this shit ain't mine. He motioned to the strip wires and alligator clips pouring out of the open server panel and the silvery canister nestled in the middle. 12 hours, Bridge wondered, leaning over to get a better look at the newcomer. After a moment, he slipped around and crouched down to get a better look. Panel cut off at the hinges, lots of wires. No brand names or writing, and the wiring... They... hacked the security interlocks? Bridge stood back up, a hand going to his forehead. Dietrich nodded. Yep, and look at here. They got the site's jammer frequency set to disable its own comms. That makes sense. Wait, seriously? Bridge jumped as he was interrupted by a wet splack sound and Dietrich dropped to the cold linoleum. For half a second, Bridge thought his finger slipped and he tased Dietrich himself. Then he saw a masked feminine figure holding what looked like a handheld electro-pneumatic launcher. Was all he was able to convey before the assailant slipped out of sight. God damn it! Dietrich grabbed Bridge's pant leg in pain. Sorry. Bridge bent down and pulled the projectile from Dietrich's neck. Gosh, shit! Dietrich shakily picked himself off the floor and took a knee. That fucking smarts! Woohoo! Are you okay? Bridge cringed as he held the projectile at arm's length. The nasty black and yellow prolonged cylinder was still firing tiny arcs into the air. He marveled at the brutality. This is not standard issue. Yeah. No shit. You gonna go after her? What? We're cut off. I just been tasered and can barely get up. I'm going after her. Dietrich tossed Bridge a tiny audio earpiece. Here, put that sucker in. Right, okay? Why? He wiped the earbud off and slipped it into the piece into his ear canal. Testing, 1, 2, chirped a perky female voice on the other end. Dietrich motioned to his own identical headset. Alex, your connection's good. What's it? I'm gonna plug you into the site's wireless direct. Give this gent your directions, corner off the perp, then see if we can establish comms for the cavalry. Copy all that? You got it, sir. Dr. Bridge, head forward and make that first right. Bridge took a deep breath and nodded his head and took off just as Dietrich plugged in his mobile device into a USB port. Okie dokie, Dr. Bridge. Take this left and we'll flank her. I'm closing accesses and leading her into a utility tunnel. She'll be blocked in. Just Bridge, and thanks, Alex. Alex, right? Are you off-site? No, silly, I'm one of the AI conscripts. Oh. Alright, cool. I just read about those, like with Clef. You missed the turn. Right, sorry. Bridge jerked to a stop and turned on his heel to continue jogging down the hallway. Great! I got her on the security cameras en route to you. Duck behind this corner for a moment. Bridge complied and pulled his taser back out. Bridge, your gun. He cringed and slipped the taser in his pocket while he fumbled for a standard issue firearm with the other hand. Good! Now, if you would fire two shots from around your corner down the hallway adjacent... What am I shooting at? It doesn't matter, just spook her a little. She's going deeper into the basement. Bridge complied and blindly let off 2 rounds. Pop, pop! Motherfuck! Yelled a female voice, followed by hurried footsteps in the opposite direction. Thank you, she's headed for the dead end now. Bridge grinned. Excellent. Nothing down here but old pipes and circuit breakers. Dietrich, you there? We got her trapped, fixing the comms too. Yeah, copy. Good work, you two. I'm just trying to deal with whatever this thing she left behind. Dietrich looked at Merle in the reflection as he pointed to one of the screws on the canister itself. Good call there, partner. He squinted his eyes in hopes of identifying the dark gray powder caked around one of the sunk screws. With his fingernail, he scooped up a tiny bit and gave it a whiff, a trick he picked up in his ears tagging along with MTF 13. Guys, this here's thermite. Guessing she wanted to cover her tracks. Merle sighed to him reassuringly. I know what to do. Wait, what? Bridge pushed the earpiece deeper in just in case he heard that wrong. He hadn't. The repeated word thermite followed by bomb just put a pit in his gut. Lurk, hello. Can you disarm it? There was a brief pause between Alex and Bridge as they listened to a few choice expletives followed by an eventual affirmation. Good. I almost have the comms back online. Hang tight for another 5 minutes. So now what? Bridge, approach and keep her in place. Okay, 10-4. Bridge straightened up. His spine cracked a little as he headed into the utility tunnel. I can do that too. Ah! Probably shouldn't have. This reminds me of that SCP that's a pipe hallway that eats people. His panic shifted into anger. She dared put a bomb in his archives? He couldn't see her, but knew she was there. There's no exit here. Put your weapons on the ground. His heart beat fast. His hands trembled as he held his gun up. There was no answer. Bridge set his jaw and flicked the safety on his gun to off. Lay down! Do not move! He shouted. He carefully drew closer with measured, even steps. He held his gun in one hand, reached into a pocket to draw his taser. He held them forward on either side as he stepped down to the darkened hallway and found nothing. What the hell? Where'd she go? That's impossible. She's not on any of the video or infrared feeds anymore. The tunnel suddenly reverberated as a rolling faint sound of thunder passed through. What was... Warning! Fire detected in server room. Halon gas extinguishers active. Please evacuate to level B1. Dietrich! The smoldering hole that used to be the Site-66 main archive was quickly put out by the gas. A few seconds longer, Dietrich would have been found as a crispy charcoal skeleton. Merle! When you say you can help, that don't mean to ramble on about cutting red or green wires, then giving up and telling me to toss it into a trash can. Dietrich would have yelled more, but trying to talk between coughs was proving too difficult. He looked into a reflective surface to see Merle's sign of response. I thought it worked well enough. Dietrich angrily signed back. You have terrible ideas. Merle then flipped him the bird, as did Dietrich, only much harder. Bridge turned around to see Dietrich flipping himself off in a reflection. Right. Oh, thank God you're alive. You alright? Huh? Oh, yeah, your library, though, pointed to a blackened room behind them. Bridge held up a hand between his eyes and the disaster. Don't even want to look at it. Dietrich, I'm looking through the backup logs now to view the most recent changes. Comms is also back up, security inbound, and they'll want an explanation, I imagine. Right. I got a bloody shoulder and singed hair. I reckon there'll be a debriefing, Alex. What about you two? Where's that spy? Don't know. She just fucking disappeared. Bridge gritted his teeth, pulling his earpiece out and looking at it. Did Dietrich just carry around a bunch of these things? What do you mean? Dietrich furrowed his brow. I mean she disappeared down a dead end. But what about... Dietrich toppled to the floor a second time as a team of 6 security guards rushed into a hazy server room. Everyone freeze! Bridge stuck the Alex piece back in and put his hands up. No, not him! He's Foundation! God damn it! Dietrich stuttered in between the clicks of the taser. Bridge accompanied Dietrich to the infirmary to help him rest and get him patched up. Merle was in Dietrich's periphery, laughing his ass off. Dietrich fumed. Merle had clearly intentionally decided not to warn Dietrich that the guards were coming. Not that this was surprising, Merle was prone to dick moves. Alexandra just finished running diagnostics and a few other utilities on the auxiliary servers. So, why were you transferred, Dietrich? I don't reckon I can really say why. I'm under orders from the higher-ups. Gotta take it up with my new boss. Dietrich rubbed a gauze patch on his shoulder. Guessing you can't tell me who. Dietrich hesitated a little bit before answering. Ever heard of Lambda 2? It's a new outfit. I'm not even sure what it's all about, but that's what I'm running with. Bridge cocked his head a bit and leaned his weight into the doorframe. I heard a couple rumors about that. Something about the legendary Dr. Clef making it happen. I thought they made him a desk jockey. Dietrich nodded. Yep. Reckon it was time to dust off that weird shit-kicker hat of his. All I can tell you is that I'm headed out prowling in the morning. This was supposed to be a quick stop. Perhaps that Black Ops lady was after the same thing I was. Bridges' expression hardened. Go on. He closed the door to the triage room. Don't get your panties in a wad. I just had Alex running checks within Site 66. You folks have real good internal record keeping. Just make sure a certain group is on the up and up. Heard they might have made contact here. Yeah? Nobody thought to tell me about this. Who? Dietrich squinted past Bridge. Merle's hands were signing to Dietrich from an adjacent mirror. He would be useful. Dietrich nodded in agreement and paused to choose his next words wisely. Bridge, you probably want to know who torched your archives and why, yeah? I just had a crazy idea, but hear me out. I reckon you should accompany me, us, to Site 17. Site 17, okay, and why is that? Bridge murmured, glancing to his side as to the glance at Alice in his ear. He began to sift through his upcoming schedule in his head, visualizing his calendar. A few meetings, containment review, maybe. No, he could probably spare some time, definitely. Alexandra chipped into Bridge's earpiece. Based on some of the search queries, I'm pretty sure the intruder was looking for files on Alpha 9 like we were doing. I need a data rat. Really, I need a data rat with enough clearance to get Alex in where she needs to go. We work together on this, we can shoot 2 coyotes with 1 bullet, and that bullet's name is Alex. Want to ride the bench or steal home on this? I don't golf, but I think I'll come along. Give me a few hours to set everything in order. Bridge took out his phone and turned his heel towards the door. I'll see you in a bit. Yep, meet me in the motor pool garage. Bridge paused a moment, his hand on the door handle letting it register in his mind. The garage, not the tarmac. The garage. Got it. See you. Okay then. How many sports references just got scrambled there? Let's see. Ride the bench or steal home. He was making a baseball reference and he said I don't golf. Wow. Okay, well that entry was shorter than I thought it was going to be. Let's see how long Tinker Tailor Soldier Huntsman is. You know what I hate about living in London, Gunnel? Do I have to read this with a British accent? Probably have to read this with a British accent. It happens every night, without exception. The details are different every time, his years living in the secret world blurring together into one messy painting. Tonight, his client is a very old man with a red striped tie, and his monster's a great white wolf. Sidestep, parry, swipe, miss, draw, fire, roll, duck, slice, cut, a messy ballet, but Alexander knows it well, understands it in his core. No stage-trained dancer can dance as beautifully as this. No one else can do what he could do. The battle nears climax. Alexander's blade clashes against Claw, neither material is sure which should shatter first. This is the moment the man in the striped tie, the client, makes his fatal decision every time, without fail. Alexander understands why the man in the striped tie did it. He'd paid a lot to come out here. He wants a trophy, something that he can point out to his friends in his study and say, I killed that. It was a terrible battle and we almost lost, but I was the one that killed this monster. He can see it out of the corner of his eye now. The man in the striped tie pulls his shotgun from off his shoulder and aims. Alexander doesn't have the time to tell him to stop. He pulls the trigger and Alexander drops to the floor, his chest torn apart like the wrapping paper on a Christmas present. Alexander doesn't remember what happened after that. He doesn't know if the man in the striped tie survived the rest of the night in those deep, dark woods. Usually the dream continues to a hospital bed and the pieces of him that were cut out. Usually. Tonight, instead, he's awoken by a scream. Alexander's eyes opened. He calmly stepped out of bed, grabbing the pistol under his pillow. He cleared his bedroom first before stepping into the hallway. He listened closely for a moment, but heard nothing but his daughter sobbing. Lucille, are you alright? Daddy! Alexander could hear the sobs in her voice. There is a monster underneath my bed. I just want to say right now, I cannot do a good voice of a small child, because grown man, small female child. Anyway. Alexander relaxed, opened the bedroom door and stepped inside, slid smoothly to the floor and lay prone, pistol in hand, lifting up the sheets and looked under the bed to find nothing. There was nothing under the bed. Why would there be? Alexander got up and flicked the light switch. No monsters under the bed. Yes, there is. I just saw him. He had great big teeth and was covered in scales and his eyes were bloody and... You have to believe me. Alexander rubbed his eyes. Shall we look for him then? The girl nodded. Alright. Do you want to help me? The girl shook her head and dove further under the covers. Fine. Wait there. Alexander began to sweep and clear the room just like a combat zone. He checked the closet, the dresser, behind and under the bookshelf for nightstand, and once again, for good measure, underneath the bed. Clear, he reported. The monster must have run away. Do you want me to stay? The lump of a little girl hiding under the sheet moved in a way that could indicate a nodding head. Alexander sat down at the foot of her bed and told her another story from his time with the Russian army. She fell asleep halfway through. In the morning, he made her pancakes. Not campakes. When Lily got to the office Monday morning, she found her assignment standing waist-deep in a wooden crate full of packing peanuts. He heard the door shut and glanced up at her. Have you seen my silencers? Lily frowned. I don't remember ever seeing you use a silencer, Mr. Fox. He dug through the box some more, throwing packing peanuts all around the small office. I had them shipped from my old office. They're expensive. Lily began scooping up peanuts and throwing them back in the box. I'm certain I haven't. You know, they have silencers in the armor. You could probably get one that fits your gun. He was sorting through the filing cabinets now. These were special, void silencers. They do not have void silencers here? Never heard of them, Lily said. Fox closed the filing cabinet, locking it with a brass key. It is what it is. May you please take me to the quartermaster? 6 a.m. Subject leaves home, retrieves mail, returns inside. 7:45. Leaves home with daughter, enters motor vehicle. 7:55. Arrives at school, exits. 8. Stops at diner, drinks coffee alone, reads paper. 8:32. Pays for meal, cash. 8:45. Leaves city limits. As requested, surveillance ceased. Dr. Gunnell read over the log once again. Apparently paying for a private detective was useless. Not like anyone outside of the Foundation would know what they were looking for anyways. Gunnell really didn't care who Fox was or what the Foundation had planned for him. But as long as his benefactor kept sending him paychecks, he'd keep sending whatever they felt like asking him for. After all, money really did talk. Gunnell read the log again, then he heard his computer beep. Felt his heart race. His bug had managed to catch a voicemail. He practically fell over the play button. Begin recording. Hi, Mike's Tailoring and Alterations calling. Your jacket and pants are finished exactly like you asked. The total comes to, $74.50. Pick it up when you have the chance, okay? Our business hours are 9 a.m. to 4. End recording. Dr. Gunnell frowned and began scribbling on a piece of paper. Despite my best efforts, I cannot seem to get any information on the MC&D purchase. No matter how many bugs I place, investigators I hire, or files I steal, I can't get anything on the anomaly or how he operates. He crumpled it up and tossed it in the bin before pulling it out and setting it on fire in his ashtray. His benefactor would have no interest in a failure report. He'd need actual information, which means he would have to work a lot harder. He suspected that he'd have to do more than just bug Fox's voicemail. He'd have to bug his outgoing calls too. He'd find something yet. Some smidgen of info about Fox and what they were planning for him. Lily tried to keep her irritation down to a reasonable level. Her third day assigned to the aggravatingly mysterious Fox, and she managed to lose him. He was due for an examination at noon, and he hadn't checked out of the building at any point. He wasn't in his dorm, and he wasn't responding to her calls. She checked everywhere: mess hall, armory, offices, firing range, training halls, boardrooms, level 1 laboratories, and, in an act of final desperation, both the men's and women's laboratories. She was just about to ask site security to look for him when her cell phone buzzed. Lily, going to my tailor. We'll be back after lunch. Fox. Lily exhaled and made a note to dress down whoever let Fox slip past their checkpoints without notifying her, then pulled out her phone. This is Lily. Asset Heth has left site. Are you tailing him? Yes, ma'am. We're having a little car trouble at the moment, but it'll be alright. Alright? What the hell does that mean? Is he still in your line of sight? No, ma'am, but he's just visiting his tailor. We've been there before. We'll catch up with him soon enough. Report to me if you don't. Lily out. The bell rang as Alexander walked through the small door. A tall, bald man looked up from his newspaper before cracking a smile. Foxy! Long time no see. Alexander turned the sign in the door around, letting everyone know the shop will be temporarily closed. I got a phone call saying you had my stuff ready? The man coughed. Were you followed? Alexander pulled some copper wiring out of his pocket. No, my tail's had some car trouble. I'm alone. The man laughed. That's my Foxy. You bring cash or you want me to charge it to a company account? Alexander threw a large black briefcase on the counter. $74,500 plus tip. The man threw his newspaper on the counter next to the briefcase. You never fail to impress. He stood up. I imagine you want a live demonstration before you walk out with your new gear? Demonstration, please. He remembered his dream from last night. Remembered the time his old tailor had sold him a faulty code and a shotgun blast had gotten through. I always take a test drive these days. Baldy unlocked a large steel door and waved Alexander within. Words to live by, my friend, words to live by. Heavy machinery thrummed in the back of the room, rolls of thick fabric being fed into them from steel rolls. To the left of the room was a makeshift shooting range, and in the center of that was a much the worse for wear mannequin wearing a black pair of dress pants and a long, thick dress coat. Alexander walked towards the firing line. I assume those are mine? He asked, drawing his pistol from a coat pocket. The bald man nodded. Go for it! Alexander fired 10 rounds into the jacket. After a few seconds of silence, he watched the squashed bullets push out of the jacket and fall into the floor. Impressive. Of course! It's also totally fireproof, waterproof, and tear-proof. Alexander blinked twice. You are absolutely sure I cannot rip this jacket? The bald man laughed. I have to use high-pressure water just to slice the fabric myself. Knives are child's play. Alexander put his gun away. What about the pants? Classic huntsman's long fall trousers. You'll survive a drop up to 1 kilometer officially. Unofficially, I've heard of guys surviving up to 6. Not sure how true those stories are. They're true. I was one of them. Alexander looked at his watch. I need to head back to the office. I'll wear these out. Baldy nodded. Dressing rooms are upstairs. Anything else? Alexander frowned. Are you still married to the leather worker? Yep, 25 years now. Tell her I need a new pair of gloves. Oh, and if she still knows the lens maker, I will need new glasses. I pay cash. The orderly pulled a needle and some vials out of one of the drawers and began to prepare them. That will not work, Alexander said. The boffin looked up from the sterilization process. What? The needle's too small. You'll need one much bigger. He flicked the device in question. That will bend or break off inside me. Very uncomfortable. 27 gauge works best. The boffin scrawled it down on a yellow piece of paper on his clipboard, then reached for the bigger needle. The jab was quick, and the vials began to fill themselves up with a watery black liquid. The boffin had been briefed on this, but it didn't make it any less strange to see in person. He tried running a blood typing test, but the liquid he extracted from Fox just dispersed through the vials. Unsurprising again, but was still really weird to see. He threw the vials into the plastic box on the wall labeled Anomalous Biohazard Disposal. He looked back at Fox, who was putting on his shirt. Alright, we're all done here. You're free to go. Fox stood up. May I read my results? He put out his hand expectantly. What? Yeah, I guess. He passed the clipboard to the well-dressed man. Medical file confidential, do not distribute. Name, Alexander Fox. Clearance level 2. Site, location site 19, birthday October 15th, 1978, 36, dates of testing, blank, blank, blank. Test given, ECG, marksman exam, physical endurance test, basic blood work, and typing. Alexander is a new agent recently recruited from another GOI, Marshall Carter in Dark, has some anomalous effects which have been described in detail below. He is an allergy to penicillin, but has said that he has not needed to worry about that for a while now, apparently due to his anomalous capabilities. He is not on any regular medications of any sort. He stated that his anomaly may react with various chemicals, including any fungicides or pesticides. Alexander Fox has several anomalous properties, all of which he was not born with, but instead, as he stated, gifted to him by his employers. The largest and most obvious is the fact that his chest cavity is missing his lungs and heart, and is instead filled with plant matter that, when sampled, showed similar DNA to the mundane species Plantae bryophyta, or standard moss, but with a few genetic divergences. Through all testing, they appear to act like a normal pair of lungs and heart, although his breathing is significantly shallower and his heart beats significantly more slowly, roughly 50 beats per minute. It appears that his lung activity filters out all toxins in the air, accepting only carbon dioxide and pushing out everything else. As well, his heart filters out any toxins in his veins, including all viral and bacterial infections and most drugs. In case of surgery, it may be difficult to keep him unconscious, and dosages should be adjusted accordingly. As well, the entirety of his blood has been replaced with an unidentified black liquid. Mr. Fox states that this is due to the new heart not liking the old blood. Attempting to blood type it has failed, but a transfusion will likely not ever be necessary, as any wounds, externally or internally, clot incredibly rapidly, leaving a threat of bleeding out unlikely. Finally, Alexander Fox has the capability to identify chemical compounds within food and drink, including most non-anomalous drugs and poisons, by either smelling it or tasting it. When Alexander got back to his office, a really ugly man was waiting for him. He was leaning in Alexander's chair, drinking Alexander's coffee and resting his feet on Alexander's desk. Alexander was not amused. "Can I help you?" "I know who you are. Please take your feet off my desk. I might later, Magpie." Alexander, for the first time that day, felt panic and froze. "Ukulele, right?" "That was me," the ugly man said cheerfully. "I go by Clef these days," he smiles. It was not a very nice smile. "I go by Mr. Fox now." Alexander sat on top of a nearby filing cabinet. "It's funny. You tried to kill my family when I was a boy. Now we work for the same team, apparently." "I wouldn't say the same team. It's not like it used to be, kiddo. It used to be everyone fought for the same purpose. Now everyone has their own agendas, plots within plots. It's enough to give a man a headache." "A pretty good life lesson from the guy that killed my mother." Clef smirked. "Not the first mom I've killed," he said bitterly. "I came over to give you a couple of welcome gifts." "What could you offer that I don't already have?" "I can give you a Pegasus." I don't know what that means. Alexander stared down at the greasy man sitting in his chair. "Bullshit." "I'm serious. I can get you a fully functional Pegasus, undamaged and with all safety systems disconnected, for all of your reverse engineering pleasure." Pegasus is GOC technology. If you had one, the Foundation would have better visibility tech of their own. Utilizing them is still held up in red tape. Holdovers from the post-Bow era. I can get you a head start. Alexander thought for a moment before replying. "I will take it, but do not expect anything in return. It's in your filing cabinet." Alexander got off the filing cabinet and opened the top drawer. "So it is. Filed under P even." Clef smirked. "Organization is the key to efficiency. I've got a second gift for you as well." Alexander started to fiddle with the device. "Oh?" "One of our employees has been overstepping lately. Been investigating you without permission to do so. I noticed my desk phone was double bugged. Wasn't sure which one was the official one, so I left them both be. We'd like you to talk to him." "Who is he?" "The dossier is also in your filing cabinet." Alexander opened the second drawer of his filing cabinet. "So it is. Filed under S this time. I imagine for silence. Also snitch." Clef glanced at his watch. "Whoa, would you look at the time? I've almost missed my ambiguous, non-existent appointment that I've scheduled just when I start to lose interest in my current conversation." Alexander stopped fiddling and looked up at the ugly man. "Dr. Clef." "Yes. This is a Mark III Pegasus, 1990s GOC tech. I could probably buy a better one off eBay." Clef laughed as he left. "Enjoy your 6 minutes of invisibility." Alexander waited for Clef to close the door behind him. He never did. That fucker. Alexander closed the door, picked up the Pegasus in one hand and the dossier in the other, and sat down in his desk. He read the dossier and frowned. He'd have to call a babysitter, he'd be home late. Dr. Gunnell had had a long day, no leads on Fox, and he was too busy investigating that to do his own research. He swiped a security pass, unlocking his apartment within Site 19. It wasn't anything particularly special. Most of his furniture was still the standard issue equipment they gave everyone, but it had his clothes and his personal belongings, so it was the closest thing he had to a home. He stepped inside and felt the door slide shut behind him, leaving him in pitch blackness. He began to look for the light switch when he heard a voice coming from the shadows. "Do you know what I hated about living in London, Gunnell?" Gunnell froze. His heart felt like it hadn't stopped beating. He knew this was it. His gig was up. Fox had figured it out. He was going to die. "It was the roundabouts, Doctor. I hate the roundabouts." Dr. Gunnell slowly reached into his pocket. He took out his keys and tossed them to the floor, followed by his wallet, then his pocket knife. "When I want to go somewhere, Gunnell, I like to go in straight lines. If I have to make a diversion, I simply turn and eventually return to the path I was on. Gunnel did not say a word. He'd found his pillbox, opened it, and dry swallowed the small white tablet inside. Roundabouts take you in such a snake-like path. No one solves their problems directly in London. Gunnel tossed a small object onto the ground. It hissed softly. Fox did not appear to notice. This is an analogy, Doctor. I do not bribe. I do not blackmail. I go directly to the source. I do not drive in circles. Do you understand, Doctor? Gunnel breathed in deeply, tasted acrid vapor, and waited to die. When he didn't, he began to laugh. You're an idiot. You didn't even notice the nerve gas grenade. I just took the only antidote. You'll be dead in seconds, and I'll... A blur of motion. Dr. Gunnel felt the cold steel being pushed through his chest. He looked down at the blade piercing his stomach and up at the man who pushed it through him. I don't have lungs, Fox said. I would have thought you'd have learned that in your research. Gunnel gurgled. I don't know what kind of spy you are, Dr. Gunnel, but you seem to be a terrible researcher. He put his hand against Gunnel's chest and pulled out the blade, watching Gunnel slide to the floor in a heap. Then he made sure all of the windows were closed and locked, shoved a wet towel under the front door to create a makeshift seal, and sat down on the living room floor. He pulled out a phone from his jacket pocket. This is Fox, he said. Gunnel's dead. Might want to get a hazmat team in here. The room was apparently full of nerve gas. Dr. Clef sat on the steps of the apartment building as he watched Mobile Task Force Beta 7 Maz Hatters rush past him. He looked up at the heavy footsteps of reinforced dress shoes sounding behind. Alexander was standing behind him, one foot on the railing, the other on the concrete. He was examining something on his shoe. Clef started to laugh. What is it? Clef giggled. You look like that fucker from the rum bottle. The frown deepened. Captain Morgan. I do not. Your pose just like him. You look fucking stupid. Alexander stepped off the railing. Mission analysis? Well, first question. Did you stab him right away, or did you even make any attempt to take him alive? You were unclear on that point. I did ask you to talk to him. You paused. That could have made it a euphemism for killing the man. In any case, after he attempted to murder me with nerve gas, I was not inclined to let him live. Clef rolled his eyes. Alright, point taken. Any news on who he was working for? No, but it was almost certainly not your overseer council. The hell makes you say that? Nerve gas grenades and antidote pills? Why use something so awkward when one has access to cognito hazards? Good point. I'll take that under advisement. Clef slapped Alexander on the back. Anyway, you proved you could do what needed to be done. Welcome to Lambda 2. The confusion spread from Alexander's forehead to the rest of his face. What's a Lambda 2? What's a Lambda 2? Alexander was just about to fall asleep when his phone rang. He groggily reached out to it before mumbling a sleepy hello. I hear you move. Why you no call me? You trying to avoid me, smart Alec? Alexander felt his bones chill. Hello, babushka. You cannot hide from me, Alec. My bears, they will find you. I don't have a Russian accent, but I imagine this is supposed to be a Russian accent. Bears are everywhere, Alec, even in the city. Even in city, bears are nearby. In zoo, in forest, always there are bears. I know, babushka. I wasn't hiding from you, I've just been busy with my new job. You still kill the people, Alec. Bouge moi. Why ever take you in? Your mother must spin in grave. You can do much better thing than kill people for dirty merchant. Babushka, I first saw you kill a man when I was 7. I watched you drink his blood. That is way of bear, smart Alec. Cubs in danger, mother bear kill without mercy. You have lost way of bear. You kill for money. Bear never kill for money. You forget example of cousin Yevgeny? He fuck entire town because tried to use bear to kill for money. Idiot. What the fuck? Oh, SCP-2075. Someday you will also fuck self because kill for money. Also, why you not bring Lucille to stay with me? Babushka, Lucille's not going to go and live with you. It's better Lucille live with great-grandma. Even if you good father, girl need mother or grandmother, teach ways of woman and ways of bear. Maybe you not send Lucille to live with me, it's fine, but you should find good, strong Russian woman to remarry. At least teach Lucille way of woman if cannot teach way of bear. I go now, Alec. You call me back soon. I love you. I love you too, babushka. The phone went click. Alexander rolled over and returned to his dreams. Sidestep, parry, swipe, miss, draw, fire, roll, duck, slice. Okay then, so now we know that he's a part of A9 or Lambda 2. Rather than have this episode go to 40-something minutes, because I feel like this is going to be too long for that. Yep. Okay, so in the episode after next, we'll start with We Got a Good Thing Here and see how far we get. So, this has been episode 61 of Let's Read the SCP Foundation Wiki. If you liked it, a like and a subscribe would be groovy. If you didn't, you don't need to do either one of those things. So, thanks again, and I will see y'all in the next one. Later.